Hello! This is going to be my last Invisalign diary video, and that is because the journey is now complete. So this is no longer Invisalign, it's no longer the Pontic, it is actually my implant. We're now in May, but I actually had the implant fitted in February, and it was nowhere near as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. When I had the metal work done back in October, there was a lot of blood, it was quite sore, it constantly felt like I had a blockage in my nose. It wasn't the most pleasant experience I've ever had, and actually since having that done, I genuinely thought having the crown fitted was going to be really painful. But basically what happens is they kind of done another scan, and they checked all the gap, the sizing. They tried to colour match the crown, kind of second guessing where my teeth would be at in terms of shade, so that the crown could be the same colour as the rest of the teeth, and it fits in nicely. And when it arrived, it basically had like a little hole in it, and it just got screwed into place. So the orthodontist just screwed it in, done it to about 80% tightness. So yes, it felt like something was there being screwed into my jaw and to the metalwork that had already been put in place. And I left it for a couple of minutes to settle. He tightened it to like 90%, and then he full on just tightened it to 100%. And yeah, it did feel a little bit uncomfortable, more of a tightness, more like, wow, that's like something has been screwed quite tightly into my jaw. If you imagine you just screwing a screw into a piece of wood, you know, when you get that to that final stage and you just give it that one last tighten, you can really feel it's quite tight. And I guess that's kind of what it felt like, but in my jaw. That sensation only lasted a couple of hours, that something was there. After that, I just completely forgot about it. So there's not really much more to say other than it is done. If you have followed my journey right from the very start, all the way through a couple of years, thank you very much. I really genuinely hope that there is, that it has helped some of you. I know when I first started creating these videos, it was more so for documenting my own journey, so I can look back and see how my teeth have progressed over the time. But it is also because I couldn't find anybody who had that midline shift, so with that one central tooth, because maybe they'd had a tooth removed when they were younger like I did, and their teeth had just shifted over. And I genuinely did not know if having a successful Invisalign treatment was possible. So if you are in that, if you've stumbled across these videos because you also have midline shift, you've got that one central tooth, you just don't know if you should go for it. I think I gave the advice in my last video, just make sure you do your research. Don't necessarily go with the cheapest or the closest company. Just do your research, go with the best. I think, to be honest, they're all about the same price anyway, give or take. It's an expensive journey. You may as well pay and get the best of the best. I used Dental on the Banks down in the South Coast, and they are very well known for giving successful Invisalign journeys. I think mine was probably more complicated than most they have to deal with, and they did have to use their initiative quite a lot. Maybe the straightening wasn't going quite as planned at certain points, so they would take a little pivot and change things. They'd work with Invisalign in the States to decide what the best course of action was, hence having to have kind of like a bit of a hybrid at one point where I had Invisalign, but I also had the fixed braces on top of that as well. It's been, yeah, it's been kind of like chopping and changing the whole way through. Initially, they said it would take 15 to 18 months for the Invisalign part. I think it did take a little bit longer because I was still going at Christmas. So it was probably more like 21 months of Invisalign. But then obviously I had to wait for the implant on top of that. So yes, it was a two-year journey. Don't have any regrets. I'm really happy with the end results. The only thing I would probably have expected a little bit more from would be maybe the whitening side of things. I still don't think that my teeth are much whiter than they were before. They look clean, but I just don't think they look white. So yeah, I don't know if I would look into doing whitening again. It probably doesn't help that I do drink black coffee, so that's going to naturally stain my teeth. So I guess I just weigh up how much do white teeth really matter to me. But the most important thing for me is I feel like I can smile now. I feel like I have normal teeth. I feel like I have healthy teeth. So that's going to help me with dental care as I get older. Hopefully I'll have less problems. And it has made me really self-aware of taking care of my teeth as much as possible and getting into that good routine. So yeah, it was a big investment. I don't intend to just chuck it away by having loads of sweets and not brushing teeth and that kind of thing. So yeah, here we go. So got this one here is the implant. It is slightly whiter than the rest of my teeth, and I think that's probably because they thought that the whitening would whiten the rest of my teeth up to the B1 shade. So this is B1, the implant, but I don't think it's overly noticeable. So they said they could have warmed up the tone of the implant. I don't really think it's necessary, and again, I may well opt for some whitening at some point in the future. I haven't ruled it out, but it's just not particularly nice to do the whitening. I don't like the fact that there's chemicals in your mouth, and it's just a bit of a pain. It's just an inconvenience to have to do it, and you stick with it for kind of like 4 weeks. And I just really don't want to do that. I just want to kind of like brush my teeth, put my retainers in, and go to sleep. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's much else to say. We're done. So yeah, I do really highly recommend Invisalign as long as you have a good care team. So do your research. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I will do my best to monitor this channel. I don't anticipate there being a lot of views on any of these videos, but again, if there is one person who's like, oh wow, like we started off with the same teeth and I would really like to have the end result, then yeah, drop me a message, and I can answer any of your questions you've got about my journey and how I felt at times. It felt like a very long time having it done, but now, yeah, it's so lovely to be able to go for days out and not have to worry about popping your Invisalign out and not having anything that will get stuck in the gaps, because you don't want to put your Invisalign back in if if you're out and about and you can't really clean your teeth. So yeah, it's really nice to now have that freedom to go out for a meal and not feel self-conscious about, oh, I'm just going to pop to the toilet, take your Invisalign out, come back, and you've got this massive gap there. Yeah, it's just lovely to have it all complete. And yeah, that's it. I'll leave you there. If you have any questions, just shout. Thanks very much for following.